Hi, Namaste. My name is Henry Shankar, and today I would like to talk to you as a hypnotherapist that has worked with thousands of clients. And my special field of interest and study at this time is brainwashing and mind control by cults. At the present moment, there's an enormous amount of brainwashing within the Hare Krishna cults, ISKCON, and the many other little cults that have sprung out from ISKCON. And all of them point to Swami Bhaktivedanta as perfect, pure, whose teaching, whose books they believe in, and every day those devotees of Krishna bow down to the statues of Swami Bhaktivedanta or his picture, and all the little gurus of ISKCON and others teach their disciple to also bow down to the picture of Swami Bhaktivedanta. And when you do that, you are consciously and subconsciously telling yourself, I believe completely in this man and his teaching. That's what you put in your subconscious mind each and every time you bow down in front of the statue of Swami Bhaktivedanta. Coming from someone who has studied his complete books and also got information about secret teaching, basically, of Swami Bhaktivedanta, we have to remember that Swami Bhaktivedanta said terrible thing about the black race. I've made a video about that, and you can find it under this video. Swami Bhaktivedanta made some denigrating comments about women, even stating that women do like a man that is expert in raping them. I've made a video about that, and you can find it under this video. And Swami Bhaktivedanta said terrible things about the Jews, such as the Jews basically deserve what came to them because they were financing against Adolf Hitler. 6 million Jews died, 2 million were children. Swami Bhaktivedanta had no real knowledge about nor the black race, nor the Jews, nor the homosexuals. And after studying his work and his words outside of his book, it is clear to me that Swami Bhaktivedanta is not a self-realized soul in the league of Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi or Ananda Mayama or Paramahamsa Yogananda and modern philosophers like Dr. Deepak Chopra. They would never, ever talk about women in a denigrating way, about the black race in a denigrating way, about the Jewish culture in a denigrating way, never. There's a lot of brainwashing happening in the Hare Krishna movement. And such fanatic as Jayapataka in India that I knew very well, someone that has always been behind the little 11 gurus of ISKCON. He's making hundreds of devotees right now, initiating groups of them, and these people really do not know what they will get involved with. A society that is racist, that denigrate women, and that is totally, completely anti-homosexual and lesbian. Such activities Swami Bhaktivedanta call demoniac. Swami Bhaktivedanta brought Vaishnavism to America, and Vaishnavism contained the basic of Hinduism: reincarnation, belief in the Atman, that we have a soul, and that the way is Bhakti Yoga, love of God. And Swami Bhaktivedanta, on the positive side, did help thousands of people to give up drugs and alcohol, to lead a pure life as a vegetarian, introduce the masses to what a mantra is all about, repeating the name of God. He fed millions of people now with his organization. But if you're gonna give your life to ISKCON or any gurus related to ISKCON that ask you to bow down to the picture or statue of Swami Bhaktivedanta, you better know what his teachings are completely and totally. Swami Bhaktivedanta did not only say very stupid and dangerous things, but he also got implicated in organizing situations that were disaster, such as the marriage of his disciple Arigriva and Shama Dasi. So I'm going to end up this video by telling you that story, because this is not only applicable to the Hare Krishna cult. This is applicable to a lot of gurus out there on all kinds of traditions that mesmerize their disciple, that brainwash their disciple to do whatever they themselves think is the right thing to do. So for me, this is a story about Cheryl and Morrow that you see here. This is the only picture that we really have of Cheryl. Now Cheryl is from a middle class family in California, a very proper girl, very little experience with sex. And when she was about 20 years old, she joined the Hare Krishna temple in San Francisco. And immediately the disciple of Swami Bhaktivedanta told her that the Guru is as good as God. You have to bow down to him. Whatever he tells you to do, it's like God speaking to you. He is the Guru, the one that will take over your karma and liberate you. That's what she was told. So in 1968, Swami Bhaktivedanta told her that he wanted to have her marry one of his beloved disciple, Arigriva. Now Shama was a very young woman, very naive, And she had given her heart and soul to Swami Bhaktivedanta. And Swami Bhaktivedanta even wrote to her upon her initiation, where she received the name Shama. He said to her, "From now on, you are my beloved daughter, and I am your beloved father." What Cheryl did not know is that Arigriva, that you see here, he's the one standing with his longtime lover, Kirtan Ananda, Keet M. I must tell you that story because it is only recently that my friend Henry Dagtovsky, that you see here, published various books on Shama Dasi, the events around her marriage, and the life story of Howard Wheeler, Arigriva, and Kirtan Ananda. Howard and Keet met in 1960. This is a picture of them about that time. They met in a gay bar, and they became instant lovers. And they moved together in New York City, and they were having basically orgies. For a while they kept a young man that was there only to give them sexual services in exchange of food and lodging. These were not monogamous homosexual. They were perverts. It is documented that Kirtan Ananda would go in the subway of New York and have sex with strangers in the toilets all over the metro of New York. Then he would come back and have sex with Howard. Who knows what type of STDs that Howard was carrying. Arigriva was also a pedophile who had a relationship at least a few times with the 14-year-old boys in New Vrindavan. Now, Keet and Howard met Swami Bhaktivedanta in 1966. Eventually, Kirtan Ananda became a monk, so to speak, although we know now that he was a prolific pedophile, abusing mostly young boys, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. So you can imagine that Swami Bhaktivedanta, or he had no idea that Howard was an homosexual. Possibly Howard never told Swami Bhaktivedanta that he was an homosexual because in the books of Swami Bhaktivedanta he calls homosexuality demoniac. But Howard was also a professor of literature, someone who has helped deeply in the editions of Swami Bhaktivedanta's book. So Swami said, okay, time to get married. And Swami Bhaktivedanta boasted, hey, I'm the one who has arranged this wonderful marriage. He was there in Los Angeles when the ceremony of marriage took place. And never did he ask Howard, are you an homosexual? Do you have any sexually transmitted disease? You're about to marry my beloved disciple, daughter, Shama, who has no experience or very little with sex. He never asked him, you think a spiritual master He didn't have even common sense to marry a pervert to practically a very pure woman. The marriage was a disaster. A year later, he started to have sex with men again. And obviously, he had sex with Shama a few more times because she had a second son. Then the marriage was over and he basically went on his perverted orgies in Mexico, Thailand, and everywhere else. That poor Shama had so much trouble. At one time, Kirtan Ananda and Arigriva kidnapped their son, Shamba, brought it to New Vrindavan away from California. He used to sleep in the same sleeping bag of Kirtan Ananda. And his sick mind, this was the son of the greatest love of his life. This was a very sick in the head person. She tried to get her son, Kirtan Ananda, sent his men and say, find her, kill her. Eventually, Shama apparently wrote a book called Mind Rape. Unfortunately, it seemed the son do not want to release the manuscript. Basically, it's about her being brainwashed, mind raped when she was 20-years old by giving her whole soul, mind, heart to a guru that was reckless with her life. Possibly this video will help a few people not to get entrapped in the Hare Krishna cults all around the world that are led now by people who point to Bhaktivedanta as the source of their power, as the source of their wisdom. And when you look deeply into the teaching of Bhaktivedanta, it has nothing to do with what self-realized masters have taught over ages. They would have never said those things about woman, about race, about homosexuality that are in the literature of Swami Bhaktivedanta. Thank you very much, and namaste. It is a fact that many homosexuals joined the Hare Krishna movement and accepted the teaching against homosexual, hiding within the Hare Krishna movement their homosexuality. Of the 2,000 children that were in the Krishna school, about 1,000 were sexually molested. By pedophiles such as Charles Dasi. So are some of the quotes of Swami Bhaktivedanta. He said this in Chicago on July 3rd, 1975. The world is degrading to the lowest point. The world is becoming less than animals. The animals also do not support homosexuality. They never have sex between male and male. Homosexuals are less than animal, and this is due to godlessness. Unfortunately, when he said that, the internet was not invented. If you put homosexuality among animals, it is clear that there's hundreds of species that have homosexual relation, especially among the monkeys, the bonobono monkeys. It is rampant. Homosexual appetite of a man for another man is demoniac and is not for any sane male in the ordinary course of life. This is in his book, Srimad Bhagavatam 3:20-26. So if you were a fanatical follower, you would think homosexual equal demoniac. Nowadays, that would mean that Ricky Martin is demoniac, Elton John is demoniac, Ellen DeGeneres is demoniac. You think, who would believe those things? But in the 1990s, a devotee, a disciple of Swami Bhaktivedanta named Siddhar Swarup in Hawaii, received hundreds of thousands of dollars from a right-wing Christian group and went on a terrible attack against the gay community in Hawaii. He used as a mouthpiece his own disciple, Mike Gabbard. It got so bad that Mike Gabbard had to close his small restaurant because the gay community was furious. And again, when gay marriages were allowed in Hawaii, the mouthpiece of Siddhar Swarup said to the press, "It is the saddest day in the history of Hawaii." Swami Bhaktivedanta said, in India, there are some very low-class men that we call homosexual, but there's no lesbian, never a woman. This would be very low class. Little did he know that some of his leading disciple female were a lesbian. How to produce an homosexual? Here's the recipe according to Swami Bhaktivedanta. When, after enjoying so many women, a man will become impotent, then artificially men create another sexual impulse, which we call homosexual. This is the psychology. So people have now become so degraded that they are practicing homosexuality. In Los Angeles, May 25th, 1972, just say, now they are talking in universities about life as an homosexual. They're just fourth-class men. They're just animal producing many other animal. The churches, the priestly class, is even discussing marriage between man and man. Humanity has come to a very low point according to Swami Bhaktivedanta.